Alrighty, hey kiddos, welcome back to my channel. Okay, so today we're just doing a get ready with me, and what that's going to be is just like my daily, everyday bullshit makeup that like I do to get ready to go to work or just to like go out in public in the normal world. As you can see, we're starting off clean-faced. I don't have a drop of makeup or moisturizer on at this moment, so it's just clean face. We're gonna start with step one. So what I've really been into lately, like as far as like moisturizer primers go, I've been ate up with this product. It is by Clarins. It's actually supposedly it's a serum. It's, you know, to firm and lift, and Mama's getting a little old, you know, she's 40. So I gotta worry about these things. Now, I may not have them in abundance yet, like any skin problems having to do with wrinkles or whatever. But hey man, what better time than the present than to prevent? So I use this awesome Clarins product for my pre-primer. So I use this every single day. I use it before I put makeup on, and I use it after I take it off, and when I'm, you know, getting ready to go to bed, I'll put this on before bed. I love this stuff. So we'll be starting out with this. Boop boop, 2 squirts. And it says on the back of the bottle that you're supposed to pat it in. So I initially pat it on, and then I give it a little bit of a rub. Let me scoop my hair back out of my face. And it dries real quick, so you gotta go fast. And it gets super sticky, which is good because in any sort of lotion or primer before your foundation, you always want it to be really sticky, because a sticky primer is a functional primer. So that means it will help your product stay on. Get that under eye area, girl. Okay, so now that we have that on, we're gonna let it sit for just a second, sit down, and we're gonna move on to my next favorite thing. I'm really into my senses, so things are important to me when they smell good, when they feel good a certain way. So with things smelling a certain way affect me just as much as things functioning, because it's your face, your nose is on your face. So do you want anything that smells shitty next to your face or your nose? I hope not, because ew. So yeah, I have been rocking the Too Faced Do You. When I go out on the town, like I'm out like at night, I always rock the Hangover by Too Faced, which is amazeballs. That stuff's amazing. But this is a little too heavy for me on a daily wear. I work at a very physical job, so I sweat a lot on my face. And I have found that if you wear this while working physically or sweating, you're gonna get like little bumps, like little breakouts. So I went with the same brand, which is Too Faced, and tried their lighter version, which is called the Fresh Glow Do You Luminous Face Primer. And it smells fantastic. It smells like fruit, and it has like a little bit of a glow to it, and it keeps your makeup on. But if you do things outside, or if you're a physical person at work like I am, like I'm constantly on the go, like I'm sweating, it's crazy, I gotta use a lighter primer in order to not break out. So just put a couple squirts in your hand. Lots of people like to do primers with a brush. Lots of people like to do primers with their beauty blender. I'm old school, I do primers with my hand. So we're just gonna pat this on. It does have like a cool glowing, you know, a little bit of a shimmer to it, which unless you're wearing it by itself, like just as a moisturizer, like if you're, you know, one of those ladies that's super lucky, it can just rock a clean face and look fantastic, then this would be perfect for you, because it's gonna give you a glow without giving you any sort of tint, any sort of foundation. So if you like a clean face, but you just want a little bit of a oomph, that'd be cool to wear just on your own, like, you know, on its own. You rub it in and make sure it feels nice and sticky. Once it's tacky, then it's ready to apply the foundation. Okay, so my oldie but goodie favorite foundation is from Clinique, surprisingly. I mean, I personally think 99% of their cosmetic products are shit, but this one foundation is the Tits McGee. Okay, so as you guys can see, I'm very fair, and being a very fair complected person, I have redness issues. So let me get up in here. I'm like really red around my mouth. I'm really red in the corners of my nose. Oh my God, I have so much redness everywhere. So in order to fix said problem, I use this, which is the Redness Control Foundation by Clinique. And I've, of course, like so white, I'm almost clear. So I have to use the I don't know if you can see it. I don't know, that says Calming Alabaster, just so you know. It's like the first shade, first one. And I use a Beauty Blender by Beauty Blender. And always remember, if you do use Beauty Blenders, no matter what brand you use them from, always wet your blender first, so that way it's not drinking up your foundation. Make sure you wet it first, so that way there's water in there and not your foundation. So we're just gonna take a couple dollops. And this stuff, a little teeny bit goes a very long way, so you don't need a whole bunch. I'm literally just gonna put like a little circle. That's all I need. That little dollop will do my entire face. And being that my place of origin is Broke Bitch Island, when things are a little go a long way, that helps me be a happier person. Okay, so we're just gonna dab it on, top and bottom. Okay, now that your foundation is applied, always remember, don't forget those lips, because your foundation is gonna act as a primer for any sort of lipstick or lip gloss or lip stain that you wear. And don't forget your neck, because no one wants to look like you're wearing a mask. And don't forget your earlobes, because we just wanna blend it all in to anywhere that may be showing. Okay, moving on to our next step. So that's going to be concealer. Now I'm not saying everybody and their mom needs to wear concealer, but I do. So being that this is a get ready with me video, we're gonna hear some concealer. Okay, right on. So I use the Smashbox Studio Skin Flawless Concealer. I have found, like I said, it smells good, and a little teeny bit goes a long way. So those are my two #1 factors in choosing cosmetics for me. A, does it work? B, does it smell okay? And C, is it gonna last me a long time? Because bitch, if I'm paying, 20-something bucks for a little bitty tube of some bullshit, then it better go a long ass way, or else I'm writing my congressman. Okay, so where I like to put my concealer is anywhere I have either over redness, or I tend to get dark circles throughout the day from just being tired. So that's gonna be under my eyes. And we just put it in a little bitty fan motion. So to contour, I just go in a downward motion, like in a diagonal kind of motion, starting at the ear point right here. And like I was saying, your contour all depends on how you want your face shape to look. Not everybody's the same. Some people want it to go this way, some people want it to go this way. I just prefer a more angular look. So I go down in a diagonal motion. I also like to warm up my face line, but not looking like a fucking hot Cheeto. I like to warm it up but not get crazy with it. So I'll put a little bit on my hairline and in my temples. And I'll put a teeny bit to contour my nose to make my nose thinner, right on the sides. Now you can also contour with a cream if in fact you wanted to get that hardcore. I personally am not that hardcore about my contour. I prefer a powder contour because it's softer. Some chicks like to do like a cream this color, and they'll do literally 2 lines on the side of their nose and like blend it down. That shit's too much for me, especially on a daily kind of vibe. If I'm just doing a basic everyday look, I'm going for powder. I'm not trying to get all crazy with it. So I'm just gonna do a casual little powder contour and call it a day. Some girls like to contour their jawline. I do, I don't. I mean, it's not something I can't live without, but okay. The blush I'm using today is going to also be from Too Faced, that same line that smells fantastic, and I use it in the pomegranate. So it looks like this. Let me open it up. As you can see, I use that pink quite a bit because the little like sparkly pink is like the bomb.com on my skin tone. So I used quite a bit of that, and I'm gonna go ahead and use a MAC stippling brush. I'm using the 188. So it's Got synthetic tips along with a natural fiber, and I'll get in here and I basically just kind of dab it around a little bit everywhere, and then I'm gonna go kind of on top of my contour in the same direction. Always remembering to start light. You can always put more on, but you can't take it off, honey. So start light, and I do my contour and just these lines right here and on the side, but I do my blush and my highlight in a C. So I'll go over my brow and on top of my contour like this with my blush and my highlight. And remember, ladies and gents, you have color on your face in all kinds of places. You have color on your chin, on your nose, on your chest area. So anywhere you want to look like that you have a little life, you're gonna put some blush. And just a little bitty bit, like, you know, not as much as you would on your cheeks. Accentuate those collarbones, because nothing is sexier on a woman than her collarbones. Collarbones are hot. I don't give a shit what anybody says. All right, so that's my blush. And now what we're gonna do, moving on to my highlighter. Okay, so my highlighter is gonna be a different brand. It's a very affordable brand. It's an independent brand called ColourPop, and everything they make is literally under $5. Like, it's super duper cheap. This is from the little line that they did for Disney called the Disney Villains line. And it's Ursula, and it's so cute. So totally adorable. It's got Ursula on there. It says her name on the back. And the color I use is like this weird, crazy, iridescent, pinky purpley action. So I like to apply my highlighter with a sponge because your highlight doesn't need to have spread. So if you're applying your highlighter with a brush, I suggest using a brush that's on the smaller side, kind of like this, nothing large. So if you're putting a highlight on, you don't want to use anything big. You want to use a small tipped brush or a sponge. Now my sponge is dry, of course, because I'm applying a powder. So I'm just gonna go in here and get some on my And speaking of Disney, when doing your highlight, you kind of gotta think about what would a Disney princess look like. Where does she have light? She has light that hits her cheekbone area. She has light that hits the tip of her nose, the tip of her chin, and the top of her lip. Top of your lip is called your Cupid's bow, and you always want to bring attention to your mouth because, I mean, that's super sexy. So just dab a little bit on your Cupid's bow there. A little bit on the top of your chin. Little bitty bit on your nose. And anywhere there's gonna be a highlight, it's also gonna contrast against your contour. So that way it's gonna enhance the look of the thinning effect that you're looking for. So yeah, and that's what it looks like. Now once this is on, I prefer to go ahead and set my face. Lots of people like to set their face either now or after they've done their eyeshadow. I personally like to mess with it now because once my eyes are on, I tend to put a shitload of mascara on and I don't want any black dots around my face because of the mascara, so. Put that up. So, the primer, the setting spray I'm going to use today is going to be by Morphe, and it is the Morphe Jeffree Star Collabo. Now the regular Morphe spray comes in a black can, and it is amazeballs. It's great, it smells okay, I love it. But this one smells like strawberries, bitch. So of course I had to get it, and you know I'm like Jeffree's #1 fucking fan, so that queen is life. So yeah, and it comes in this little can, and it comes in like with a squirt top. Now it came with a pink squirt top, but that one was jacked, so I put my black one on from my black can that I had before this one, and it works perfect. So I just had to switch my little caps so that it doesn't come with a black cap, it comes with a pink one, but whatever. And you hold it, I don't know, about 6 inches to 12 inches from your face, and you just spray. Now this isn't a pump, this is an aerosol, so you just keep your finger down and just wave it around. Oh, so refreshing. Ah, it smells like strawberries, I love it. Now you're just gonna fan it. Oh, it feels so good. Now what that's going to do is it's gonna give you the real skin look. So anywhere there was powder, and now it doesn't look like there's powder. Now it looks like real skin. It has the same coloring and shine like as my chest does. So once it dries, it's going to look exactly like the rest of my skin on the rest of my body, which is needed to not look like you're wearing a mask. All right, so moving on now to what I do every day for my eyeballs. I've been super hyped on the new Morphe Jeffree Star Collabo kit. I mean, I will say that I have every one of his palettes ever, but this one is the one that I'm hyped on right now. And it's really cute. And it looks like this. So what I use every day on a daily basis, just for an everyday look, I use literally 2 shades of eyeshadow for my eyes. I'll use what's called Back, and of course these are all named like welcome back to my channel because he's a YouTuber. Anyway, so I use the shade Back, which is like this really pretty pink. And then I will use for my brow highlight, I will use this MAC shadow. You can see I've used the shit out of this, honey. I've had this sucker since I worked for MAC, and that's been 10 years now. Lord. It's called Carefree. Anyway, it's cute. So we'll work on those after I do my brows. So now we're gonna move on to brows. I do my brows with, you can do it literally a million different ways. You can do it with the Anastasia brow pencil, which I love. And this is gonna be a little more, have more staying power for you, because like you could literally be in the rain in this and nothing's gonna happen to you. It's waterproof, it's fantastic, go to a pool. I, on the other hand, just prefer the look of a powder because you can fade it better, but powders are not waterproof. If you're in the rain, don't look up, because honey, your eyebrows will come off. I thankfully, which is a basic eyeshadow, and I'm going to use my 266 brush from MAC, which is an angled brush. Perfect for brows. And in order to get this to stay on and go on in a sharp manner, I'm going to wet my brush. But lots of people that are just, filling their brows, they're not wanting like the extreme like brow look. You can put on your brow with a dry brush, and that gives it a much softer feel. If you just want to fill some holes in your brows or whatever, and you just want to give them a fuller look, then yeah, just use a dry brush. I personally am going to draw out some brows, girl. So I'm going to get my brush wet. I'm using a little spray bottle off scene, and I'm just gonna get my brush wet. And I take my wet brush and I'm going to dab it on the powder. And of course the water will absorb into the powder, but that's what it looks like. And now you draw out your lines. And of course, since it's a powder, and everybody likes to do their brows differently, as in like if they like a gradient effect, like a fade, or if they like it to be sharp and like, like old school pinup girl, or if they like it, to have the natural hair fibers. It's all a matter of preference. I think the natural hair fibers look is pretty, and I think it'd be great on me. I just don't have much practice at it, so I don't really do that very much. I like to do what's easiest for me for a daily look is just the gradient effect where it fades from light into dark. So that's what I'm gonna do today. I found the hardest part of doing my brows is creating the tail, making those even. That shit's fucking hard. But I mean, that's just because I'm a nervous wreck, so I'm not very steady, but whatever. And always remember, if you mess up on your brows, that's okay, because you're gonna go through and you're going to edge your brows with a concealer, with like a thicker cream concealer than you use on your face. It's gonna have to be like a lot thicker, so that way you can cut out your brows. So it's not really that big of a deal if you mess up, but I mean, you don't wanna. All right, moving on to the next brow. And honey, I'm the first one to tell you what may work for the goose may not work for the gander. So, I mean, shit, just because it works for me does not mean it's gonna work for you or everybody else in the world. And I'm not also saying that my technique is like the technique everyone should be using. It's all a matter of preference. Makeup in general is all a matter of what works for you on your skin, with your skill level, your abilities, and your shake level. I'm a shaky person, so I have to do things a little more like concentrated than everybody else because I'm not that steady, which is why I'm not like a regular, you know, hand artist, like drawing artist, because I'm a shaky bitch. But you know, everything works for different people. So what may work? Also, I have found, because I kept my real brows, I have not plucked my brows off. Your eyebrows are sisters. They are not twins. So they are not going to be exactly the same. It just isn't normal in the natural world. Your face, as a human, your symmetry is not 100% equal. So don't blame me, blame your creator. Because that's just how it is. So if you're that person that's going to like lose her mind over her brows if they're not looking exactly the same, then maybe having natural brows is not for you. Maybe you should get those bad boys off so that way you can draw the equal, like, you know, equally the same brows on every single day. And I'm like, even though I love aliens, I don't want to look like an alien when I don't have makeup on. So I keep my brows, I'm not taking them off. Which means I have to be okay with having two different brows, which I am. This one's always gonna be pointier because this one's always gonna be the higher brow. This one's always gonna be rounder, like a more of a Joan Crawford instead of a point. All right, so now we're just gonna edge and make sure they're even before we fade this out. This is not gonna stay that dark. Okay, now you can use literally any spoolie you want. I like to use the end spoolie of my Anastasia Beverly Hills brow pencil just because it's a softer spoolie, but you can literally get them from tester areas in the mall for free. Like any spoolie will work, and you just fade out this area right here. Just brush it back so that way you can't see any stroke marks and it fades into nothingness. And also comb out those hairs because you applied that powder wet, so it's gonna clump up if you don't brush them out. And we want it looking smooth. And you just do the same thing to your other brow that you did with the first one. All right, so now that we got that nicely faded, we're going to cut our brows. Now what I like to use is the same shade as my Studio Fix powder. It's by MAC. It's called the Studio Finish Concealer, and it's like, it comes in a little pot, and it's in C15, same as my powder. Boop. And a little bitty teeny weeny bit of this goes a very long way. I'm going to use the Chanel eyeliner brush, and why I like this brush is because it is like a teeny weeny brush. And it's perfect for cutting brows because the bristles are stiff, so you can literally get this cream anywhere you need it. And it's small, so it's not gonna go everywhere. And we're just gonna line them out. All right, and as you can see, that's what it looks like. It's all chunky and crappy because we haven't blended that out yet. And we're gonna do the other side just the same. Just making sure and paying attention to that line being straight. So I'm gonna fill my brush and do my other eye. Okay, so now that you've drawn this on and you look a hot ass mess, you're gonna blend this out. I like to do it with my finger just because it's smaller, but if you wanna do it with a brush, you can, whatever. It's just easier for me to use my finger, so I'm gonna just go in there and wipe it on in. And if you found that you accidentally hit it into your brow, it's not the end of the world. You can take your brow brush and go in and fix that. whoop, like it never happened. Okay, so now that we've cut our brows out, this is what they look like. Yay, cut brows. Okay, so now that we've cut our brows out, we have to set that, making sure that that cream cut stays in place. So some people like to do a basic setting powder. I like to cut mine with the shadow I'm using, so that way I killed two birds with one stone, and I make sure the highlight is there, and I make sure that that cut ain't going anywhere. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to take my highlight shade that I showed you earlier. I'm going to take a basic MAC brush. All right, as you can see, we just pat that on there. We didn't blend it at all because why worry about that when we're actually gonna do other colors on top of that. So now, back to that palette I told you guys I use every day, and I'm gonna use that pink shade that I use every day. And we're just going to get a basic Morphe brush, an M73. It's a big poofy brush, great for blending. I'm gonna go into that pink shade right there that I was telling you about. Boop, boop, boop. And a little teeny bit goes a very long way. And we're gonna put that in our crease. Now, believe it or not, under normal daily circumstances, I don't wear eyeliner every day. Even though you guys see me 90% of the time with eyeliner. I don't wear it to work, ever, because I sweat too much, so what's the point? So I won't be wearing it today because I'm doing a get ready with me everyday look kind of vibe. All right, we're just gonna blend that up into the highlight where we set our brow. And blend, 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 honey. You know the old adage, when you think you're done blending, blend some more. Where's my eyebrow? Okay. And I always like to put some underneath my bottom lash line just because it's pretty. I mean, whatever. I like to warm it up. Just a fun little trick. All right, now that that is done, what we're gonna do is our mascara. So I have found that my favorite mascara will flake after like 6 hours. And that's the saddest story ever told because I am a working girl. So that means I work crazy long shifts, anywhere from 8 to 10 hours sometimes, it depends. And the last thing I want, you know, in a work day is all the black specks all over my cheeks because I have mascara fall out. Ew, gross. So, you know, that's the #1 complaint I ever heard when I was working at Ulta is, oh my God, I love this mascara, but you know, it gets all over my cheeks. And I'm like, oh, I can fix that, girl. And we're gonna fix that today with a lash primer. So what that is, it's like a little white goo that goes over your lashes that you put on before you put on your mascara. And basically what that does is the same thing a face primer does, is it locks it in place and holds onto it. So that's gonna prevent your mascara from flaking. So if you have a favorite mascara that you love the pants off of, but for some reason after a few hours it starts flaking, all you need is a lash primer. And what I'm using is an Urban Decay lash primer called I like to get them nice and coated. Now, I do not wear false lashes or lash extensions on an everyday situation. I only wear that kind of thing whenever I'm going out or for a special occasion. So because of that, I have, you know, natural little baby bullshit lashes. And because of that paranoia that I have, I put on a lot of primers. That way it helps lengthen and oomph my mascara that I use. And my two favorite mascaras right now are, they're both by Too Faced. One is Better Than Sex, and it comes in this little guy right here, and the other one is Damn Girl. That's what it's called, Damn Girl. And it's in this like little angular kind of guy. The Damn Girl is a self-curling mascara, so if you have like bored straight lashes but you don't want to use a curler, then you can use this on it and it curls them back and lifts them up and looks real pretty, but it's very, very gooey. And the applicator brush is one of those applicator brushes that I don't suggest for hooded eyes, if in fact you have a hooded eye. So it's like real thick and real hard to put on hooded eyes. But what you can do is you can get it, just use a different applicator brush to put it on. Today we're going to use my mellow version of that, which is going to be the Better Than Sex. It's perfect everyday mascara for me, but my only issue was that it would flake, so I put on the primer to stop it from flaking. Now, I'm kind of a Tammy Faye when it comes to mascara. I like to, and especially since I'm not wearing any falsies and I'm not wearing a whole lot of eye makeup, I like to make them pop, make them stand out. All right, so I think those are done. Okay, so the final step in my daily face is just gonna be my lip. Sometimes under normal circumstances, like, you know, I don't even wear a lip to work because, you know, like I said, I'm a working girl, and that all that sweating, all that crazy moving, there's no need to keep reapplying a lip all day long. But if in fact I'm just going out like for a day and my day off activities, like going to lunch or whatever, then I'm gonna wear a liquid lip because they'll stay on longer and you can eat food with them without, you know, it coming off. So I like a few different liquid lips right now. I'm super into Jeffree Star's liquid lip, so let's grab that. All right, so the one that I'm favoriting right now is a nude, and it's called Celebrity Skin. Super cute. Oh, I love this. And with a liquid lip, it's gonna be very opaque. It's not going to be like a lip gloss. It's gonna dry matte. So you gotta make sure that you have, you know, exfoliated your lips before you put your makeup on, and you gotta make sure that they're moisturized or they will flake on you. Now with the Jeffree Star liquid lips, they are very, very, very liquidy. Like, they're not creamy at all. So if you're shaky, like if you have problems creating a straight line on your lip, I suggest getting ready to line it with a concealer. But I'm used to it because I use it like every day, so I don't need to do that. And a little bitty bit goes a long way, as you can see. But I'm gonna put a little bit more over here because I feel that that side of my lip is fuller. Just to even it out. All right, and I'm done. This is my daily look for everyday wear. Basically, this is how I look when I go to work every day, only I don't have my lipstick on. I'm usually without a lip, but this is it. I usually have my hair in a bun. If I'm not doing anything, you know, special, I'm just like throw it up in a bun and throw this face on, and that's what it looks like. I'm gonna get up close for you so you can see what it looks like. Yeah, and I love this highlighter. Oh my god, that ColourPop is so cute, and it's like so cheap. And I hope you enjoyed this tutorial today, and this is just a basic everyday get ready with me. Please like and subscribe and share away. Also follow my other episodes I got going on, which I'm doing a little series called Growing Up Dandy, which is a storytime series about how I was raised in my crazy family. So check those out. And until next time, dudes, we'll see you later.